Hello guys, good morning everybody. I hope you are fit and fine. Welcome to our YouTube channel, right? Let me know I am audible and visible to everybody. Just let me know. Hanji. Okay, so I can see a lot of comments, right? Okay, just let me know whether I am audible and visible or not. Yes sir. Okay, chaliye. So there are a lot of questions why the, let's say, analysis was not coming for the past few days, because I was on a leave, right? I was on paternity leave, so that is why I was not able to take the classes. But now I am back and we will continue this series, right? So I think there was a delay of, let's say, 1 week where I wasn't able to take the classes, but I've already told you the reason, that what was the reason that I wasn't taking the classes. So thank you so much for your wishes. Thank you so much, right? So we'll begin our classes for today, right, with the new, let's say, approach. And one thing I want to tell you, that who are appearing for 2024, make sure that we will try to give our best, because maximum things that we can learn in the preparation of UPSC is from where? Is from the newspaper itself. So let's begin our journey for UPSC 2024. Now, there's a very important news I think everyone could see over here. That is, Tamil Nadu minister arrested by ED, remanded in judicial custody. Now, this is the news that we will see that it is not of importance for us, but this news is importance for us. I will tell you how. Because here the question is related to that Tamil Nadu, along with this, when their minister has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate, what they have done, they have taken the permission of consent from CBI. They have taken down their consent permission from CBI. Now, what does that mean? Now, under section 6, very important. Now, this particular act becomes very important. Under section 6 of Delhi Police Special Establishment Act, under section 6 of DPSC Act, if a CBI has to investigate any matter related to any concern, then it has to take the permission of the state. What it has to do? It has to take the permission of the state. But after seeing what has happened in the case of ED, now they have turned down and taken down their consent what they had already given. वैसे तो अगर हम बात करें स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स की कंसेंट के बिना सीबीआई इन्वेस्टिगेट नहीं कर सकती है, बट one thing you have to understand that Tamil Nadu government and along with few other states had given a general consent. Now what is the thing that has happened? Now they have taken down their consent. Now they have taken down their consent. So this part becomes very, very important. That is the section 6 of the Delhi Police Special Establishment Act. I hope you are able to understand, right? So this was the main news that you need to know, because you never know what type of question can come in the exam. And one thing I have to tell you, that when this CBI is basically formed, I think सबको पता है, it derives its powers from the Delhi Police Special Establishment Act. But one thing you have to understand, what is the genesis of CBI? CBI जो actual उसकी genesis है, that was formed as Special Police Establishment. It was formed during the Second World War by the British. Why? Because they were thinking and they were having certain apprehensions that there was certain corruption that were there in the supplies department. So in order to control the corruption in the supplies department, they instituted a special police establishment to look into the corruption thing that was going on during the Second World War. And rest you know is the history, that how CBI further got, let's say, got its power. पहले इसका नाम CBI भी नहीं था, वो बाद में जाके पड़ा. I hope you are able to understand the whole genesis and what is the thing that we have to derive from this particular news article, right? So this was the main news that you have to understand. Now, the second news I think everyone could see over here, the violence in Manipur is not stopping any soon. As you can see over here, retaliatory strike by the village guards leave 9 dead in Manipur. Now this is a very, very, we could say, tragic situation that is happening in Manipur. The reason is the same that was earlier. The reason is the conflict between the Meitei community and the respective tribal groups. जो हमारे कुकी कम्युनिटी है, राइट, दूसरे जो ग्रुप्स हैं ट्राइबल कम्युनिटी, उनके बीच में, और अगर हम बात करें मैती ग्रुप के बीच में बहुत ज्यादा कंफ्लिक्ट है। और इस बार क्या हुआ है, देयर हैव बीन द रिटेलिएटरी स्ट्राइक्स बाय whom? The village guards. Now the civilians are involved. As a result, it has become difficult for the army to control this particular matter. But one thing we have to understand, situation soon जल्दी इसे solve नहीं हो पा रही है, because अभी भी अगर हम बात करें बहुत ज्यादा लोगों के मन में confusion है about this whole particular situation, right? I think everyone knows the basis of the genesis of the conflict, that was granting of ST status to the Meitei community, which hasn't gone well with the tribal community because they feel their rights are already infringed, and by granting the ST status their rights would be more infringed by the Meitei community that has a very little, let's say, concentration as compared to tribals in the state of Manipur. And along with it, I think everybody knows कि अगर हम मणिपुर की बात करते हैं, that has 60 seats of MLA, and if we talk about 60 seats of MLA, 40 seats are coming from the valley area that is basically resided by the Meitei community. So basically अगर हम बात करें यहाँ पे मैटर जो है apprehensions हैं ट्राइबल्स के बीच में, मेती के बीच में on their respective rights. I hope you are able to understand these two particular news. तो ये दो न्यूज आर्टिकल बड़े इंपॉर्टेंट है आज के न्यूज़पेपर के फ्रंट पेज से. The third is Gujarat on alert with cyclone Biparjoy set to make landfall today. I think सबने इसके बारे में सुना होगा, काफी टाइम से न्यूज में चल रहा है, right? So there have been a certain disturbances as well. So you need to know where it's gonna be approaching. It is gonna be approaching the Gujarat coast and it's gonna make landfall in less than 24 hours. One thing you have to understand that this cyclone Biparjoy has been categorized as a very severe cyclonic storm. Now this categorization is very, very important. It has been categorized as a very severe cyclonic storm. Now this is basically related to the speed of the cyclone. As you can see, the range of this very severe cyclonic storm ranges from 125 km per hour to 135 km per hour. और अगर हम बात करें इसकी स्पीड और भी ज्यादा बढ़ सकती है. So that is why it has been categorized as a severe cyclonic storm or a very severe cyclonic storm. So these are the 2 points that we have to remember about the cyclone Biparjoy. I hope you are able to get the analysis of the front page that we have 3 news related to section 6 of Delhi Police Special Establishment Act, the whole situation boiling down in Manipur, and the cyclone Biparjoy that is going to make landfall in the state of Gujarat coast, right? Okay. Now, moving to the next part, there is a very, very important news that has come. Basically, ये हम ना avoid कर देते हैं, but ये बड़ी important है. I will tell you how. I think everyone could see over here. There is a certain, I think you can see an image of a woman doing certain karate, right? Or they are doing certain imparted or doing certain self-defense training. Now, what is this whole matter? The Ernakulam district of Kerala, Kudamshri Mission is set to roll out a Dhiram project. एक project start हुआ है, Dhiram project. Now what is this Dhiram project? Let's try to understand. It is a project which is aimed at imparting martial arts based self defense training to women at 2 gender resource centers shortly. As a prelude to the district wise rollout of the program, 2 women with martial arts background were given a 25-day training for 200 hours. Very important. Now, 2 of these master trainers from the district will impart similar training to 30 women aged between 18 and 35 years. Now, let's try to understand. Now, they have taken a very, very progressive step if we talk about this particular district, because they are talking about the protection of the women, giving them the self-defense training so that they are equipped. As a result, safety of the woman is ensured. So what they have done, they have taken certain women, let's say 2 women who had a certain martial arts background. They were given certain training. Now these 2 women will further give training to 30 women that who are aged between 18 years and 35 years. And further, these 30 women will further, अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं आगे लोगों को ट्रेनिंग प्रोवाइड करेंगे. As a result, to make sure कि वुमेन्स की इमेंसिपेशन हो रही है, अगर हम बात करें उनकी इंपावरमेंट हो रही है, उनको सेल्फ डिफेंस की ट्रेनिंग प्रोवाइड करी जा रही है, एंड दिस कुड बी अ इनकम जनरेशन सोर्स फॉर द वुमेन एज वेल. दिस इज अ वेरी, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट दैट यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड that this is an income generation source for the women. Because when the women are skilled, let's say with the training of martial arts, then they can use it to, let's say, monetize it and provide their basic services. Now these type of examples, these type of case studies are very, very important, and you have to make sure that you are mentioning in your GS paper 4, GS paper 1 or GS paper 2, because these are the points that are of very much relevance. If someone asks you, let's say you are facing an interview, you need to be aware of such things which are happening that can become a role model for the different states, and it has been done in the Ernakulam district, right? So these are the points that you have to remember about this particular program, that is the Dhiram program. And in the prelims we can get a question as well, what is this project related to? That is the Dhiram project. Otherwise अगर हमने नहीं सुना तो नहीं सुना, बट ये एक तरह से फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन बन जाता है अगर हम यूपीएससी प्रीलिम्स की बात करते हैं. मेंस के अंदर आप इसे यूज कर सकते हो एज केस स्टडीज एज वेल. केस स्टडीज आ रही हैं, आपको कोई एग्जांपल कोट करनी है, सो यू कैन गिव लाइव एग्जांपल्स. इफ यू आर मोर गिविंग द लाइव एग्जांपल्स ऑफ व्हाट इज हैपनिंग अराउंड द कंट्री, देन इट पुट्स more value addition to your answers. So this particular example becomes very, very important. You have to remember the scheme as well. जैसे जय हो मूवी में सलमान खान ने बोला था ना कि आप 3 लोगों की मदद करो, वो आगे 9 लोगों की मदद करेंगे, ऐसे चेन बनेगी. So that is somehow the concept that they are trying to make sure, trying to implement. That is, they are taken 2 women who will give training to 30 women, that will again further give training to next lot of women, and that could basically help them in basically converting it into an income generation source. I hope this point is clear to everybody, right? Okay. यहां पे कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. अब ये आर्टिकल सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, इसी को डिस्कस करेंगे. द नेक्स्ट फाइनेंस कमीशन विल हैव अ टफ टास्क. This basically, if we talk about, article has been written by the former governor of the RBI, that is the Duvuri Subbarao. Now I think everyone is aware of the roles and responsibilities of the Finance Commission. Let me give you a quick revision of what are the various responsibilities that we have for the Finance Commission. I am talking about the Central Finance Commission, right? अब एक चीज बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है जो आपको याद रखनी है. Finance Commission is a constitutional body under Article 280 of the Constitution. Very important. तो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज क्या हो जाती है? It is mentioned under which article? It is mentioned under Article 280 of the Indian Constitution. Now, second thing you have to understand, the taxes that are being collected by the center, it is being shared between the states. So first of all, you have to understand 2 things. Let's say the previous Finance Commission, that was the 15th Finance Commission, that had a tenure between 2021 to 2026. It said out of the central pool of taxes, 41% shall be given to the states. Now, what percentage shall be given to the states? It shall be 41%. Now, when I talk about this 41% that is being given from the center to the states, it is the vertical distribution. This point you have to understand. It is what? It is the vertical distribution. कि 41% states को जाएगा. अब इस 41% में एक स्टेट को कितना जाएगा और बाकी स्टेट्स को कितना जाएगा? दैट इज बेसिकली द हॉरिजॉन्टल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, राइट? सो दिस इज द पॉइंट दैट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल. इफ द सेंट्रल पूल ऑफ टैक्सेस इज ₹100, 41 rupees would go to the 28 states, but among the 28 states, how 41 is going to be distributed? That is the horizontal distribution. Now, there was a recommendation that came in the 15th Finance Commission. Then when you have to make distribution, let's say, जब ये distribution होगी, horizontal distribution होगी, you have to count in the population figures of 2011. Now, this was a very, very interesting thing that you guys have to understand. So, one of the criteria was कि जिसकी ज़्यादा population होगी उसको ज़्यादा contribution मिलेगा from the central pool of taxes, जो 41 decide किया गया है by the vertical distribution. Now, in 1971, I think सबको पता है कि हमारा सेंसस फ्रीज कर दिया गया था, राइट? कि जो हमारे लोकसभा की सीट्स हैं वो सारी फ्रीज कर दी गई थी. एंड देयर वाज अ पर्टिकुलर थिंग दैट वाज अनाउंस्ड दैट दे वुड बी गोइंग फॉर द फैमिली प्लानिंग और फैमिली प्लानिंग कंट्रोल मेजर्स. that they would try to control the population and states were given let's say incentives कि आप अपनी states में क्या करिए population को control करने के procedure follow कीजिए. Now there were certain states that actually followed it, but they were not happy with the decision that was made in the 15th Finance Commission. Why? Because you can see over here they are saying कि हम population figure 2011 की use कर रहे हैं. Let's say southern states after 1971 try to control their population. Try to do what? They try to control their population. But as a result of this particular recommendation of Finance Commission, their population control measures didn't go well. क्योंकि उनको कोई फायदा ही नहीं हुआ. उनको कंट्रोल करने का फायदा क्या हुआ? जब ज्यादा उन्होंने कौन सा पॉपुलेशन डेटा यूज कर लिया 2011 का. उन्होंने तो पॉपुलेशन कम कर ली थी, नॉर्दर्न स्टेट्स ने इतनी नहीं करी थी. एज अ रिजल्ट हु विल गेट द मोर एलोकेशन? दैट इज द नॉर्दर्न स्टेट्स. सो दिस वाज वन ऑफ द कंटेंशियस इश्यूज दैट वाज देयर इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द 15th फाइनेंस कमीशन. The second issue that has been going on, and that is very very important to understand, I think everyone could see over here, that it also talks about the Finance Commission related to revenue deficit grants. It also talks about the revenue deficit grants. Somehow I think everyone knows there is a revenue receipt and revenue expenditure. अगर आपका revenue deficit हो रहा है तो कुछ grant आपको मिल सकती है. But let's say we know that during the time of electoral elections, there is a particular freebies or particular promises that are being made कि हम इतनी बिजली फ्री कर देंगे, हम इतना राशन पानी फ्री कर देंगे. It all puts the burden on the states revenue expenditure, right? And as a result Finance Commission has to give the revenue deficit grant. So this is also a very serious matter that has been highlighted in this particular, if we talk about the second 15th Finance Commission recommendations. So these were the two problem areas that population figures of 2011 were used. Second is the problem of revenue deficit grants. Now here the concern that has been highlighted by this particular RBI governor or the former RBI governor is that center has been increasing the cess and the surcharge. Now one thing you have to understand, the money of the cess and surcharge do not goes with the states. ये पैसा स्टेट के पास नहीं जाता है. ऑल्दो रेस सेंटर कर रही है पर ये पैसा स्टेट के पास नहीं जाता है. पैसा जो सेंटर का स्टेट्स की तरफ जाएगा वो वही जाएगा जो सेंट्रल पूल ऑफ टैक्सेस में डिटरमाइन करा गया है 41% जाएगा. तो सबसे पहला इशू जिन्होंने बोला है कि अगर उनको इफ द सेंटर हैज टू लेवाई सर्टेन सेस एंड सरचार्ज दे हैव टू मेक श्योर कि it shall be timely planned and it should be well advanced, let's say informed to the states as well, and there shall not be let's say meaningless increase of cess and surcharge against the increase in the center's taxes. So this is the first point that they have tried to told us. The second point, the particular governor is saying that the government needs to control their freebies, the government needs to control their subsidies. So as a result, it would reduce the burden on the center or of the Finance Commission related to the revenue deficit grants. So these are the three matters that you have to understand in this whole article. Population figures of 2011, second is the revenue deficit grants, and third is using more cess and surcharge as compared to the central taxes, and fourth, if you can want to add, that is the problem of subsidies, right? I hope you are able to understand this. Okay, don't be disheartened, Chetuji. I think you have given the prelims. Don't worry, we will discuss after the class, right? Okay. Chaliye. Now, I think everyone has understood this. I think, Hanji, everyone has understood this Finance Commission article, right? Now, these are certain news that you need to know. The Center's Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee is set to test a new kind of transgenic cotton seed that contains a gene called Cry2AI, which makes cotton resistant to pink bollworm. I think सबको पता है कि कॉटन के ऊपर एक गुलाबी सुंडी जिसे हम पिंक बॉलवर्म कहते हैं उसका अटैक हो गया था, जिसकी वजह से फसल काफी ज्यादा खराब हो जाती है. इट प्रोड्यूस लेट्स से अ वेरी नॉट अ गुड क्रॉप ऑफ द कॉटन. Now, as a result, the Center's GEAC is testing a new kind of transgenic cotton seed that is Cry2AI that can make cotton resistant to this pink bollworm attack, or we can call it the Gulabi Sundi attack. The cotton seed has been developed by the Hyderabad-based Bioseed Research India, and the seed has passed preliminary trials and was recommended by the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee to be tested in farmers' fields. It has been basically tested in the preliminary phase and it has been given to different states for their testing. 4 states में दिया गया था. Of the 4 states, GEAC gave approval for only Haryana gave the permission for the test. Gujarat, Telangana and Maharashtra refused to give the permission without stating the reasons. Now, they had developed a seed, that is the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. They had given the seeds, let's say this particular new cotton variant that could be given to the states so that they can try it out. Out of the 4 states that they wanted to try it out, that the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee wanted these 4 states to try it out, only one has accepted the offer. The 3 states have refused the offer. You need to know the names, that is the Gujarat, Telangana and Maharashtra, but Haryana has, let's say, accepted the offer that they would be testing these in particular farmer fields. One thing you have to understand, this is not the commercial cultivation, this is only the preliminary testing that is basically taking place और उनकी टेस्टिंग कर रहे हैं. लास्ट ईयर ऑल्सो एक इशू आया था धारा मस्टर्ड हाइब्रिड को लेके, अगर आपको पता होगा. नाउ दैट इज अ मैटर दैट इज गोइंग ऑन इन द सुप्रीम कोर्ट रिलेटेड टू द एफिशिएंसी एंड द एफिकेसी ऑफ द धारा मस्टर्ड हाइब्रिड, बिकॉज व्हेन वी आर यूजिंग दिस देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ herbicides that we have to make sure that we are spraying on the crop. So whether it's good for the environment or not, that is a whole matter that is pending before the Supreme Court. उसका भी मैटर सॉल्व नहीं हुआ है और ये दूसरा मैटर फिर सामने आ गया है रिलेटेड टू दिस न्यू वेरिएंट ऑफ द कॉटन सीड, राइट? ओके, नाउ अच्छा ये बेसिक सी न्यूज है, आपको पता होनी चाहिए. I think everyone knows that there have been certain unseasonal rainfalls that we witnessed in this month. As a result, there was a certain apprehension that the produce of wheat would not be as much as it was there in the last season. But central government is of the hope that they would be having the record bumper harvest of the wheat this particular season. But still, despite their hope, they have imposed limits on the stocks of the wheat. See, कब आप लिमिट लगाते हो स्टॉक्स ऑफ द व्हीट पे? जब आपको महसूस होता है कि कहीं ना कहीं, लेट्स से इफ देयर इज डेफिशिएंसी ऑफ द पर्टिकुलर क्रॉप, it might result in increase in the prices of the crop. If there is increase in prices and if certain retailers, wholesalers do होर्डिंग एक्सरसाइज, कोई होर्डिंग करने लग गया, ब्लैक मार्केटिंग करने लग गया, तो प्राइसेस बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ जाएंगे. सो एज अ रिजल्ट यूनियन गवर्नमेंट हैज इम्पोज्ड लिमिट्स ऑन stock of wheat that can be held by traders, wholesalers, retailers, big chain retailers and processors. The motive is to stabilize the price of the essential commodity by stating the supply. I think everyone is able to understand. They want to make sure prices are stable of this particular essential commodity. Traders, wholesalers can hold 3,000 metric tons. Retailers and big chain retailers can hold up to 10 metric tons at each of their outlets, and the latter can hold up to 3,000 metric tons at all their depots combined. The Agriculture Ministry estimates the production of the wheat at a record lakh metric ton for the agriculture year 2022. गवर्नमेंट को भरोसा है होगा, बट फिर भी उन्होंने रिस्ट्रिक्शन लगा दिए टू बी ऑन द सेफर साइड. So this is the point that you need to know, that despite being of the apprehension that they are going to have a bumper harvest, they are of the apprehensions that it might lead to, let's say, particular increase in the price of this particular essential commodity. So as a result, they have put a limit on the stock of the wheat that could be holded by the traders, wholesaler, retailer, big chain retailer and the processors, right? चलिए, I think this was a very very easy part. Now moving to the next part. यहाँ पे कुछ ऐसा important नहीं है. Okay, अच्छा, now this news is very very important. I think if you are following the newspaper, you would remember in February in the budget there was a particular mission that was devised for the particularly vulnerable tribal group, that is PVTG. We have 75 tribes of PVTG, the maximum are in Odisha. There was a particular mission that was being said to be launched. This is basically PVTG development mission, particularly vulnerable group development mission. Now in this particular context, union government wants, if we want to implement this mission, we need to have certain indicators of these particular vulnerable tribal group. Which are the indicators they are talking about? They are talking about the HDI indicators, that is education, that is the schooling and that is the standard of living. Health हो गया, education हो गया, standard of living. So what the union government is gonna do, they are gonna create a separate HDI for which? For the particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Now this is a very very important thing, or a good thing we can say on the part of the government that they are trying to do. Before, let's say, giving anything related to the mission, they need to have a proper data, so that after having that data, processing that data, they can allocate the resources in a more better and efficient manner. हो सकता है किसी स्टेट में बेटर परफॉर्म कर रहे हो ट्राइबल्स, किसी स्टेट में नहीं कर रहे हो. सो उसी हिसाब से अगर हम बात करेंगे अगर हम बात करेंगे स्टेट्स को क्या करी जाएगी, स्टेट्स वुड बी गिवन द एलोकेशन अंडर दिस पीवीटीजी डेवलपमेंट मिशन, राइट. सो दिस द थिंग दैट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. सो नथिंग इंपॉर्टेंट ओवर हियर. Okay, now I think everyone is aware of this particular news that our Modi ji is gonna be visiting the US, right? Now, if we talk about the upcoming visit of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is a historic one, coming at a historic moment. This has been said by the US ambassador to India, and he is of the opinion that this meet would be very important for the world because it will focus on deliverables on 4 P's. अब ये 4 P's कौन से हैं, बड़े इंपॉर्टेंट है, ध्यान से सुनिएगा. सॉरी, पहला पी है पीस का, सेकंड है प्रॉस्पेरिटी का, थर्ड है पीपल का, और चौथा है प्लैनेट का. नाउ दीज थिंग्स आर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट बिकॉज दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट यू कैन राइट डायरेक्टली इन योर मेन्स आंसर. That is the peace, prosperity, people and the planet, and the examiners who check your question papers are very much happy when they come across these type of, let's say, your answers of your value additions where you are mentioning about the things that are very very important, right. I think everyone is aware of this. India USA का अगर जो भी हमारा चल रहा है, कौन कौन से एरियाज में हमारी कॉपरेशन है, डिफेंस में कॉपरेशन है, we have the cooperation in the critical emerging technologies, right. We have similar concerns related to, let's say, in the Indo-Pacific Ocean. So we have quite the areas that we have a shared vision if we talk about international geopolitics, right. Okay. ओके, ये एक न्यूज कंजम्पशन गिर रही है इंडिया के अंदर, इतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, ठीक है. अब एक दूसरा एक प्रोजेक्ट चल रहा है, आई थिंक सबको पता है कि हमारी जो बुलेट ट्रेन प्रोजेक्ट है. कैन एनीवन टेल मी विच इज द बुलेट ट्रेन प्रोजेक्ट दैट इज बीइंग गोइंग ऑन बिटवीन विच 2 स्टेट्स? हाँ जी, क्विकली टेल मी. यस, it is basically between Gujarat and Ahmedabad and Mumbai. It is between Ahmedabad and Mumbai that the Shinkansen or the bullet train system project is going on with the efforts of or with the help of Japan. This is the important thing that we have to understand and remember as well. It is with the efforts of Japan that this particular project is being implemented, and one of the things that you have to remember is that India is a very much bigger recipient of the Japanese overseas development assistance. So this is the point that we have to remember. हाँ जी, पूजा ठीक है, बस आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि बेसिक किसके बीच में है, गुजरात, अहमदाबाद और मुंबई के बीच में, राइट. ओके, चलिए. सो दिस इज ऑल द पॉलिटिकल न्यूज और द वर्ल्ड न्यूज दैट इज बेसिकली गोइंग ऑन. EU lawmakers gave a nod to plan on blocks future AI regulations. I think everyone is now aware of the positives that AI could bring, but also the negatives. So they want to regulate it, and EU is basically lawmakers are in a particular process that they would be coming with a certain regulations related to this artificial intelligence, particularly Chat GPT and Delhi. These are the two things that you need to remember, that Chat GPT and Delhi, right. So these are the two most important tools that are right now we are surfacing on the internet in the field of artificial intelligence. Delhi is a tool where you can write something, it could be converted into an image. So this is a text to image thing, and I think everyone is aware of Chat GPT, right. Okay, chaliye, I think this is the okay. So we are done with our analysis. ये बस वो wholesale inflation को लेके था. Nothing important in this particular section, right. So yes, we are done with our analysis. I hope you understood the analysis. Now let me see the concerns. So Chetu, one thing we have realized, yes, see, if I tell you na this year exam was not easy, it is not your case. Most of the students have felt the heat that has been given by the UPSC. But we need not to be disheartened by this type of, let's say, failure, right. हमें इस चीज से disheartened नहीं हो रहा है. We have to make sure that we come back again. And one thing we have got to know, that we have to be, let's say, be at our absolutely best when we go for the examination of UPSC, whether it's related to GS or whether it's related to, let's say, if we talk about the CSET, right. So these are the two parts that you have to remember, that you have to give your best. And one thing I can say related to CSET, that it is the practice that would help you out, not just for 2 months, it is a procedure of 6 months in order to make sure that we give our timely devoted effort to the paper of CSET. Second thing is related to GS. I think GS के पेपर में किसी को इतना नहीं होना चाहिए because it is unpredictable paper. But one thing I have to tell you, जितना भी पढ़ रहे हो आप, ठीक है, but make sure you are not going for the quantity, but you are going for the quality. Quality का मतलब है in-depth analysis plus revision. If you are able to do these two things, I think your life would be sorted and you would be able to pass the first hurdle, that is the prelims. So mark my words, whatever you are doing in 1 week, revise this particular thing. उसको revise करो, 2 हफ्ते बाद फिर से revise करो, 3 हफ्ते बाद फिर से revise करो. This is how you will take your preparation above a certain level. I am telling you, quantity doesn't matter in UPSC because the cutoff is, let's say, of general category goes between 88 to 90 only. ये cutoff है 44 questions correct करने आपको. So one thing I am trying to tell you, focus on CSET, continuous preparation, and for the GS part, go for the quality. ऐसा नहीं कि 10 sources पढ़ रहे हैं, उसका कोई फायदा नहीं है. Let's say if you are reading only NCERT, then focus that you read each and everything out of NCERT, and I will tell you that you will not be, let's say, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि आपका फिर prelims का paper clear ना हो, right? Okay, so that is it from my side, guys. I also missed you a lot, right? So the feeling was mutual, but now I am done with, let's say, our family duties. Now I have to, let's say, start again my professional duties, and we will be live each day at 9 AM. Till then, like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much.